We're live.
We're live?
We're live.
Hola, mi amigos. I'm trying to figure out these dumb headphones. I'm trying to do something cute and fun for you guys today with a sombrero on for Cinco de Mayo. Hola. We're going to let some people join in real quick. What was that from?
That was my audio.
Oh, okay. We're good. Hola, everybody. We're really excited to have you guys here on this Wednesday for Witt Live. You guys know my podcast. This is episode 27. We got a pretty good live for you guys today. We're talking about Cinco de Mayo. We're talking about boomer memes. I have an interview with Mikhaila Peterson, which is coming up next, and some other really good stuff. I'm also ranking the Star Wars movies because yesterday was May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. I don't know how many of you guys are Star Wars fans. That'll be at the end of the show. For any of you guys who aren't Star Wars fans and have no culture, you can skip that part of the show. But for the rest of you, we'll be doing that at the end. But we have a really good show for you guys today, and I think we're just going to hop into it. And so first, we got to talk about Cinco de Mayo, right? Cinco de Mayo is a great holiday. It's a great holiday for a lot of reasons. One, because you get to hang out with your friends, eat tacos, drink Coronas. It's a great time, okay? There's really nothing better in the world than that. But secondly, it's a holiday that really anyone can celebrate, which I think, well, at least that's how it's supposed to be. I know a lot of people would see me wearing this Mexican sombrero, and they would assign me as a cultural appropriator, which is, of course, the furthest thing from the truth. Cinco de Mayo was created essentially as an American holiday. There are more people in America that actually celebrate Cinco de Mayo than people in Mexico who celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo celebrates a war that the Mexican army won against the French in 1862. Okay, where does that audio come from?
We're good.
Oh, that's from me. Okay. It comes from 1862. They won a war, and that's why we celebrate Cinco de Mayo. And then in the 1980s, basically, tequila beer companies were like, okay, how can we profit off this? And they turned it into a big marketing type of holiday. And you guys, if you've listened to the show before, you know me. You know I hate holidays that are only based on marketing, like Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is a stupid holiday. Every day, if you're dating someone, every day should be Valentine's Day for that special girl, okay? That's a good tip to you men out there. Every day should be Valentine's Day. But Cinco de Mayo is different because you're celebrating another culture's culture, essentially. And I think that's great. I think it's awesome that you have people who are coming across cultural lines, Mexico, Spanish America, to United States, and we're able to celebrate it and be friends and communicate together. But if you do that, the left will call you racist. The left will say, no, you're not allowed to celebrate their culture. No, you're not allowed to wear a sombrero. Which is a ridiculous statement because the people who actually care about this are the white leftists. It's the white leftists who care about cultural appropriation, not actually the people who should be offended by it in the first place. Mexicans don't care. I guarantee you I did this in a video, if you guys saw the video from years ago for Halloween. Mexicans do not care if you are celebrating their culture. They enjoy it. They are glad that you are celebrating their culture. It's the same thing with like Katy Perry when she wore a kimono for one of her things. It was a concert, and then they asked people in Japan if they were offended by it, and they're like, no. Of course I'm not offended by it. I don't care. This is totally fine. They're glad that there are people in America who want to celebrate their culture. And so here at PragerU, I guess you could say we love culturally appropriating different cultures, but it's because we want to celebrate these cultures. I'm not making a mockery of Mexico when I'm wearing the sombrero. I am celebrating their culture because I want to be a part of it for this special day. Even if more Americans celebrate it, even if it's kind of just a big marketing holiday, it's still a lot of fun and everyone can come together no matter where you're from and celebrate this day. I love that. I think that's a great thing and it should be celebrated. Taylor's here also, guys. We're excited to have Taylor on the podcast as usual.
What's up, guys?
Spencer's here as well, handling all the buttons, and he's got a camera.
I got a camera now.
Oh, look at that, Spencer! Now all you ladies, okay? Spencer is here. He's a good-looking man.
Right behind the camera.
All right,
Mr. Steal Your Girl.
He's Mr. Steal Your Girl, Mr. Steal Your Podcast, maybe.
I'll steal your podcast.
Yeah, you can. It's not too hard to do, but. That's my little rant on cultural appropriation, Cinco de Mayo. I think that cultural appropriation is something that people who don't have anything sincere or meaningful going on in their lives get mad about. It's like a lot of leftist causes. A lot of leftist causes are stemmed from people having lives that are essentially worthless to themselves. You know, like people don't feel like they have anything real like going on. Our lives are so good in America. In America, your life is so good. I know that bad things happen. There are extenuating circumstances, of course. Bad things happen to everyone. But that does not mean that you are not living better than every single other person in any other country in the world. I mean, you as a poor person in Los Angeles, lots of the people, like if you live in Los Angeles, you are still more wealthy than 99.9% of all the people who have ever lived on the earth. Your life is so good. And so these things like cultural appropriation and decrying racism everywhere and all of these different leftist causes, they're not doing it because they actually care about it. They're doing it because their lives are so good that they want something to complain about. They want something to feel like, oh, I'm doing something good for the world. We have no great war, no great depression. That's Fight Club right there. Fight Club line for you. But there is nothing that is really driving people to be motivated about. So they turn to leftism and they turn to stupid things like cultural appropriation when in reality it's all farce. And the Mexican people, they love my sombrero. Okay? Muy guapo. Muy guapo over here. All right? I should have grown out the mustache. I didn't. I had to shave the mustache for another thing. If you guys saw, I had it, but
it's too bad we didn't have the mustache from the Cops kit that we could just put right back on.
I know. I wish we did. But
reusable mustaches, fake mustaches probably isn't the most sanitary thing.
Well, you know.
It's like masks.
But if
just throw that in there.
Yeah. I mean, you can wear my mask if you want.
Yeah. You know, yeah, I know it's weird. Like re-wearing masks and like wearing other people's masks is kind of gross.
Yeah, I don't think I'd wear anyone else's mask.
No. Yeah.
Unless it was like
well,
yours.
You do bandanas too, so.
Yeah. Well, I feel like the bandana, I don't know, just feels cleaner than a mask.
I suppose. Yeah, I don't know.
You want to wear it?
Anyways, are you culturally appropriating something else with the bandana, or is that just for kicks?
No, I always wear the bandana.
Yeah, it's kind of your thing.
Yeah. If you guys have watched the show for a while, you guys know. And I would say that you're my partner in crime, but I would rather say bandito in crime.
Los amigos.
Yes, my los amigo. My, mi amigo in crime.
But yeah, so, I mean, looking at the comments, and a lot of people are basically agreeing with you. They're like, yeah, I'm Hispanic, yeah, I'm Mexican, I totally agree. Like, this is not offensive to me. And it's really, like you were saying, it's these people, I don't know, I guess it's just mostly leftists who feel the need to find a way to be offended on behalf of others because it gives them a sense of moral superiority. And it's like, it's like a sense of moral superiority and a meaning. Like you're saying, we don't have any big wars or fights or anything going on for us right now that people can, or big causes that people can attach themselves to, and they don't believe in the American dream. So, okay, well, my new American dream is to feel morally superior by finding racism and extinguishing this fake racism or extinguishing this fake, cultural appropriation. And that's where people are finding meaning. That's why this keeps happening, or at least that's my theory, theory.
It's a right theory. Taylor, you're very good. This is my speech that I've been giving recently when I've been going around to colleges, which I will actually be sharing with you guys an experience that happened at a college after this interview with Mikhaila Peterson, is a vision for America. And the first two things, the first one is to make God great again. The second one is to make families great again, because those things give people's lives meaning. When you have a meaning in your life that gives you something beyond your materialistic, external sort of being, then you have purpose. You feel like you are doing something for the world that is actually important for yourself, for your community, for other people around you, and the world as a whole. But when you don't have those things, then of course you're going to turn to things like leftism. That's just how it goes. And so going into that, in Canada right now, which is the other border, which we might want to build a wall up there too, because it's getting pretty crazy up in Canada as well. with those people. And so I interviewed Mikhaila Peterson to talk about all of the stuff that's going on in Canada right now. Their lockdowns are actually worse than they are here in the States. They're doing a lot of different COVID restrictions. They also, a man got arrested for calling his biological daughter a daughter, because apparently that's transphobic, right? And they say, this is you don't need to worry about these things, but it's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope. Just because this is a one-off thing doesn't mean that it's not a slippery slope and this can happen to you. So we're going to get into that interview, guys. I only am playing about 10 minutes of the interview today because this is the podcast and we got a lot of stuff to talk about, but the full interview will be up on the PragerU channel probably in the next few days, and I hope that you guys watch the whole thing. But for now, we're just going to put this whole interview on. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Welcome back to Witt Live, the interview segment of the show today, where we have Mikhaila Peterson joining us today, which is very exciting. I've been a fan of her and her father for a very long time. When I was actually just getting into politics and in this culture stuff in this whole world, Jordan Peterson was really one of the ones who got me into that, meeting him and then finding out about Mikhaila Peterson and her podcast, which you guys can all check out as well. it's just amazing stuff. And it's a different perspective than I think we get from a lot of the political noise in the world right now, which is really refreshing, honestly. It's people who are willing to speak a lot more truth and not just grift. I'm sure, Mikhaila, you know, a lot of these people who are more of these types of grifting type, but you have always been someone who I applaud you for always looking at the truth, which I think is a really cool thing. And so we welcome you to the Will Witt Live podcast today.
Well, thank you very much for having me. It's nice to not be called a grifter for once. So thanks for putting me on the other side of that.
I know. Well, if you go on Twitter, I'm sure you'll get plenty of people calling you a grifter, and the same with me every single day and everything PragerU related. So it's nice. You know, we have to compliment each other if no one else will. But today we're talking. Yeah, exactly. Today we're talking about Canada. Canada is apparently a pretty messed up place. It's funny because I was going to mention this to you before we started, but I was surprised when I saw all these things happening in the country in terms of the lockdowns, in terms of the COVID restrictions, in terms of how the police are reacting. I mean, we just reacted to a video, what was that, a month ago, Taylor, where that pastor was kicking these police officers out of his church.
Yeah.
And it's like, I had no idea that it was so crazy. And you're in Dubai right now, but you're from Canada. What is it like? What is the culture like in Canada right now with the lockdowns and everything?
So I'm from Toronto, and Toronto got hit the hardest with lockdowns. We had a stay-at-home mandate, and I think it was November 20th, 23rd, 18th, something like that. So like mid-November, stay-at-home mandate. And that just lifted for like a week in March. And by lifted, I mean they announced that they were going to open patios, and then the second wave hit and they closed everything down again. And I was like, I've got to get out of here, because I'd been like in a stay-at-home mandate lockdown for months, and I was going completely nuts. And I was like, I can't handle this anymore. Psychologically, I don't have the concern about COVID. I had COVID already, so I don't have that fear. But just being around people who are scared is unpleasant. And so at the moment, Canada's finally rolling out vaccines. And so even if you wanted to get the vaccine, you didn't have an option for a while. We ran out of it, which I don't know what the leaders were doing for the last year, given the fact that they're like, the one thing they should have been focused on was get old people the vaccine. And then the vaccine came out and they're like, oh, we can't find any. I was like, that was your one job, like leading this country, one job. So I came over to Dubai because I'm concerned about North America entirely, but in Canada, like they're in a lockdown, they're finally rolling out vaccines. The fact that people didn't fight back against the restrictions that were being imposed was very concerning. And I'm not particularly interested in staying in a country long-term that is headed in that direction. So I know some of the news articles you point out, they're kind of one-off cases, but it's not that rare. Like, you get police officers ticketing kids in parks. It's not something that happens all the time, but the fact that it's happening at all is a problem. It's been kind of a nightmare. Like downtown, I live downtown Toronto in a condo building. Downtown has been completely empty because all the office buildings aren't full. There are stores that are boarded up. Like some of the really cool areas in Toronto they're empty. The homeless population is up. There are tents. They've moved like outhouses into parks because of all the tents. And it's really, really sad. Like, I'm irritated about it, but the fact that like North America's been built on this idea of freedom, and it's just really sad that in the last couple of years you can go somewhere like to Dubai and then you're more free there.
I know, that's absolutely wild. That's wild that you're going all the way across the world to find somewhere more free than what is supposedly, or at least supposed to be, the most free place in the entire world. I mean, America, that's kind of our slogan, you know, freedom is kind of our thing. And then you go here in California where I live, and it's like the worst place in North America to live. I mean, in Canada. But
New York?
I'm in Los Angeles. Los Angeles had the COVID restrictions even longer than New York did in some cases. Even with the sheer way more amount of deaths in New York, Los Angeles was still worse for restrictions. I mean, I think we're at like 25% gym capacity still, and you have to wear a mask the whole time. It's I mean, it's
you
just
have
terrible.
gyms.
I guess so. I know.
Like, yeah, it was unbelievable. But like that's unacceptable as it is. But Toronto was literally you couldn't even eat outdoors. Like all these restaurants, they were told that they could have patios open. So they all spent a whole bunch of money building these patios, basically insulating them for the winter. And then we were given a stay-at-home mandate like 2 weeks later. So you spend, $10,000 making a patio and insulating it. And then, sorry, you can't open your business for the next, November, December, like 4 months going on 5. Yeah.
Do you think
ridiculous.
that Canada had, in terms of like the free healthcare and the government assistance when it comes to that, does that seep into the whole vaccine conversation that we were talking about before with people not being able to get it? Is it partly because of that? Or how was the response with that free healthcare system in terms of Canada's handling of the virus? Did it work or was it a total failure?
Okay, well, I don't know. I don't think that it was necessarily the fact that it's free healthcare that screwed everything up. I think it was just bureaucracy and bad planning. I mean, Dubai, for instance, they gave out the vaccine free to everybody, including people who like didn't have a citizenship here. They just gave it out, right? And they don't have free healthcare, obviously. So, like, I don't think it was the fact it was free. I think it's just that the healthcare system there is not organized. I think there are some places that are more socialist that maybe have a more organized healthcare system, but Canada certainly doesn't have it. Like our emergency rooms have been at capacity forever. Like you get treated in hallways when you go to the hospital if you go through emergency. I don't know what it's like in the States, but that's certainly what it's like in Canada. And then there were newspaper articles coming out being like, oh, COVID patients are being treated in the hallways. Like that's just how it is in Canada. It didn't change anyway. So yeah. I don't know if it has anything to do with it being free. Maybe, but I think it was just badly organized.
You brought up a good point before about people who, like, you left the country, and like I'm someone who myself was like, I want to get out of California. I want to move to Florida. I want to move to not Texas. Texas is too flat and ugly, but Florida, Nashville, something like that. I want to get out of California because I no longer want to give my tax dollars and my money to a state that literally hates my values and doesn't support anything that I agree with, essentially, right? In Quebec, we have this video that we'll play. We'll cut it into this so you guys watching can see it. But it's about 50,000 people in Canada actually marching against the lockdowns. Yeah. So what is your response when you see like people actually going and fighting back? Do you think that there is a chance for Canada or even here in the States? Or do you think that even these people marching, the bureaucracy is so difficult that there's nothing that can be done?
No, I don't think there's nothing that can be done. I think it's scary and maybe it's dangerous. I'm not sure. But there were like plenty of examples of countries around the world that were put into they had the first lockdown, right? And everyone was kind of freaking out and being like, okay, maybe this is reasonable. And then they opened up and the government tried to impose a second lockdown and people rioted. And then they didn't impose the second lockdown. So I don't think that this is something that you can't fight against, but I think part of the problem is people in North America haven't had something really most people haven't had something really terrible happen to them in a while. So I was in Serbia in July, last July, and they opened up and they tried to shut everything down and people rioted and then they decided not to shut everything down. And I think, but they were in a war with US in the 90s. So they've actually been through something recent that was really bad. And in their minds, COVID wasn't really bad because they'd just seen something really bad. And I think people in North America, because they have no perspective on what really bad looks like, they're just like, oh, this is what really bad looks like. Let's freak out now. But I think if people went to these protests and the more people who are for it, the more support it gets, I think the government would listen. Like I know for Ontario, the premier of Ontario, he's listening to what people are saying. And for the longest time, people have been saying, why are you leaving your house? Like, it's your fault that we're locked down. It's you, the people who are going outside. You're the reason we're locked down. Like, if you just stayed inside a little bit longer, this wouldn't be happening. They didn't go, oh, maybe the government should be putting in some different guidelines. Right. So, yeah, I think there's something that can be done about it. But I think a lot of people in North America are scared and kind of sheep-like, probably because they haven't been through something really tough in the last number of decades.
Guys, that was my interview with Mikhaila Peterson, and that was about 10 minutes long. We got a full 30-minute interview that's going to be coming out with her. We get into some other stuff. We talk about transgenderism. We talk about, what was it? We talked about constitutional monarchies, which was a lot of fun. I like talking about weird stuff like that. It's a good time. And some other things. So just make sure that you're up to date with everything PragerU is doing. Subscribe to us on all social media, following us on our email list, on PragerU.com, everything there so that you never miss any of the updates that we have. And also, if you're a student around the world, you could be middle school, high school, college, or even a young professional up to the age of 35, you should join our student program, PragerForce. We have PragerForce.com here. I think I'm pointing in the right corner. Other corner. Okay, it's inverted for me on the camera. PragerForce.com. If you want to join our student program, I got started in PragerForce. Amla, who's our new influencer, she got started in PragerForce. Lots of people got started in PragerForce who are now big name people. It's an amazing opportunity where you get resourcing, marketing materials. You get a digital community of conservatives from all across the world. It's awesome. I definitely recommend you guys join. Go to PragerForce.com today and check it out. I think now we're going to get into, I'm reacting to a video of myself, which is my favorite thing to do.
Yeah. Anything that says Will all over it, has Will's face on it, has a video involving Will wants more of. So.
That is my favorite thing in the whole world. So I don't know if you guys saw this. Some of you guys who follow me closely might have seen this before, or maybe you haven't, but this happened about 3 weeks ago. I was supposed to speak at a university in northern Colorado. So are we up with the video, Spencer? Too?
You want it up?
Yeah,
let's go up.
You can put me in the corner. I was up at University of Northern Colorado going to give a speech, and things got absolutely insane. And so I'm going to play some video for you guys, and then we're going to talk about it afterwards. So here you go. These are thugs at my event at University of Northern Colorado. I was slated to speak. This was a couple weeks ago on a Monday, and I show up to the campus, and the administration comes up to me and they say, Will, if you want to speak here tonight, you have to wear a mask while you speak. And I'm like, I am not catering to your delusions. Like, that is not based on science. That is delusional, and I will not. But I didn't actually say that to them because I didn't want to ruin it before it started. So I was like, okay, whatever. So I go up on stage when I'm about to speak. The two girls who put on the event, they introduce me on stage, and as I go up, I see that there's about 50 Black Lives Matter protesters who are in the back of the room. These people who you saw banging on the table, they're in the back of the room just straight chilling, right? And I'm like, oh no, I can already tell what's going to happen here. And so I get up on stage, I'm about to give my speech, and I have my bandana on, like I always do, and I have it over my face, and about 5 seconds into giving my talk, I say, this is stupid, and I refuse to wear it. I took it off, and these Black Lives Matter protesters went absolutely bonkers. Bonkers is the perfect word for how they acted. It was wild. So they're banging on the tables, they're flipping tables, they're screaming at me, telling me to put my mask on. There's one kid there who takes his mask off and then yells at me to put my mask on. I'm like, you are so dumb. There are people who are calling me racist and other horrible, terrible things. And this is how they reacted when I didn't put a mask on, right? And so then I'm trying to corral all the people who actually came to see me. I get them, I say, guys, they shut my mic off. The university shuts the mic off because I took my mask off. Very mature. And so then I get all these people to corral around me. It's about 200 kids and also some adults and people who came from the area to see me. And I just get them to come up to the stage and just listen to me speak. And so I'm trying to speak to them while the Black Lives Matter people are banging all on the tables. It's absolutely insane. And then the administration comes and the police come. And here's what they do. Instead of kicking these Black Lives Matter protesters out of the room, the people who are harassing people, they started harassing people too. They started yelling at the people who came to hear me speak and intimidating children. There were children there, and they're intimidating children for having difference of opinion. The police come. Instead of kicking these people out of the room, you know what they do? They kick me out. They make me leave because I was endangering people because I wasn't wearing a mask while I spoke. How stupid is that? How stupid is that? So they escort me off of campus. They escort me to basically my parking, where I parked my car. And I'm like, and all of the kids who came to actually see me, they're following me. You know, they're like, we support you. Like, sorry this happened. Like, whatever. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to leave without giving my speech. So I'm like, where is the public street? I take about 150 kids who are still left and take them out to the public street, and I give my speech on the street in the cold in Colorado in winter and give it to them there, because I wasn't about to just let the administration shut me down for everything. There's one part of this clip that where is this one kid? He's this one. So here's me. You see, everyone came up to the front. See, I'm trying to give my speech. You see that? I love this old lady. She's just like, what are you doing? She's like, why are you hurting the table? Who hurt you? This table did not do anything to you. And this guy's like absolutely pounding on it. It's wild. These people get so angry. I didn't do anything to these people.
I love how you're like 20 feet away from the nearest person too.
I know.
I mean,
I'm up, I'm elevated. I didn't have COVID, and I'm like not even near these people. And they think I'm gonna cough all over them, and you think I'm just gonna spit in their mouth
that you don't have.
I know. Just like spit in their mouths or something. Ugh, I would like to. Oh man, it was absolutely insane. And so then, this is just a lesson. I wanted to bring this up because I brought this up on other things, and maybe you've seen this before or heard about it. But I wanted to bring it up again because so many people. I mean, the number one question. I say number one question all the time. This is one of the number one questions that I get asked from people is about, you know, what I'm supposed to do in the face of adversity or standing up to people who disagree with me and all that. And it's like, these people, first the administration tells me to wear a mask. I don't do it. Then the Black Lives Matter protesters try to intimidate me. I don't get intimidated. Then they try to kick me off so that I can't give my speech. I don't do it, and I give my speech anyway. All of these things are tests against me where I could have given up or not done what I was supposed to do or stood up for my values. And time again, when tested this one night, there's only one night and these three things happen, I continually strived and went forward and did what I was supposed to do. People are so worried about what the left is going to do to them. But this whole thing, not to toot my own horn at all, but I mean, this was like very good for in a marketing sense of like getting out there what the left is doing, right? It's like a good thing where it's like, we can now publicize this. And that's because I stood up for myself. If I would have cowered or was weak to these people or done what they wanted me to do, what would that have done for me? Nothing would have been good for me. Okay? I would have looked weak, no one would want to follow me, and I would get shunned by the conservative movement, hopefully, as you should. If they're weak conservatives, you should shun them. But what I'm trying to tell you is that in the face of people who want to hurt you or do you wrong or shame you or ostracize you for your conservative values, you can't let these people take you down. You can't live with their rules, okay? These people, as you saw with these different scenarios that are here on this campus, they have a set of rules that they live by and a set of rules that they try to give you, that just because they think their rules are correct doesn't mean that they're correct. And it doesn't mean that you have to live by them because they try and set them to you. You don't have to live by any creed that they try to put onto you. You live your life the way that you want to live your life and not in accordance with the left. And that's what I did. And it was strong. And I have to give myself some credit here. I did a good thing. Okay.
I'll back you up on that. It was great. And it's true. If you like the longer you wait to stand up, the worse things are going to get. And, you know, the harder it's going to be to fight back. And like you're just talking with Mikhaila Peterson about that, like how bad things got in Canada. How does it get that bad? It gets bad by people playing by the rules of the people who are tyrannical and who are setting forth like, okay, you have to behave this way. Here's, you know, you have to do all this illogical. You have to check your own brain at the door, deny your own honest thoughts about, okay, here's what an actual risk is. Here's what actually makes sense. No, don't listen to your own brain. Listen to us and the rules we're imposing on you. And as long as you continue to play by those rules, you're just giving up your freedom. And people don't realize that. And, you know, America is a country founded on the idea of freedom, but we live in a generation that does not value that or understand it. And, you know, in Canada, we saw that. I was still blown by that. Like when the cops went in and arrested that pregnant lady in Australia for posting like a Facebook post where it was like, hey, we're going to organize a outdoor protest in the park where we're all going to still wear masks and play, but, you know, somewhat by these rules and be rational about some of the risks. But we're going to just go out there and protest because we want to demonstrate that we value freedom. And the cops came into her house and arrested her for doing that. We have that video on PragerU. You should watch it. But, you know, the people who, the longer you wait and the longer people wait to like organize, fight back, stand for freedom and value it, the worse things are going to get. And I don't want to live in a, and it's like the countries that don't have that as deep in their culture, like Canada, UK, Australia, you see those more extreme examples. But America, it's like we're hanging by a thread, it feels like sometimes. And we need people like who did, I'll give you props, what you did, to continue to stand up and to, make the case for freedom, because the alternative is what? You just, like you said, if you didn't do anything in that situation, if you would have just played by the rules, okay, well, I guess I can't give my speech, I'll go home. Like you said maybe people would be like, oh yeah, he's a loser. But what's equally bad is no one would have ever heard about this situation, and people need to hear about people standing up. People need those examples, and people need to do it themselves. That's how we're going to change the culture and take the country back.
100%. No, mate, can't have a protest, mate. It's not against it's against rules, mate.
We're going to be taking you in here, prison. He's like, I've got an ultrasound in an hour. That was such a great,
that was such
crazy
a good
video.
Crazy,
I'll
not great.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
not
you
great.
could find it. Great because of the accents. I love Australian accents. It's my favorite accent to do, and a New Yorker.
We're not culturally appropriating their accents. We're complimenting them.
Yes, we're celebrating their accents. I love them, even though Australia isn't real, but that's okay. They're all living in New Zealand. Have you heard that?
No, what are you talking about?
That Australia isn't a real country.
Why? You're going to mix some Australians watching Mayo.
Have you heard of that?
No.
You guys haven't heard of this? That Australia isn't real? It's a whole, like, this. You can go Google it.
Are you spreading conspiracy theories right now? Are we going to get banned for misinformation?
I think the country that I live in is mighty real, but there are people out there who don't think so. It's wild. Wild, mate. No, there are people who think that they say like boats like took people to Australia to colonize it.
Sounds like you had some bad shrimp on the barbie, mate.
Had a few too many Fosters.
Yeah, apparently. Should go back to the outback.
Cinco de Foster.
Did you get kicked by a roo, by Joey?
Yeah,
this is so bad. People.
Wow, we only have 5 viewers now? Wow.
Yeah, what happened?
What happened?
Oh, man.
No, but anyway, we don't have to talk about. You guys Google it. If you're interested about Australia not being a country, Google it. Bunch of Kiwi conspiracies, okay? All you New Zealanders. Anyway,
let's get back on track.
Let's move on.
Standing up for your values is truly the most important thing you can do. People who are worried about what the left will do to them now should be far more worried about what the left will do to them in 10 years if they do nothing now. You want to look back on your life and you want to say, I stood up for something. I stood up for something, even if we lose, which in a lot of places right now across America, it seems like conservatives are losing. I will concede the ground to the left in a lot of different ways in America. It's obviously true. The left is still winning. But do you want to look back on your life and say, I let it happen? Or do you want to say, I was a champion for these values and I stood up even if we lost, even if I was shamed and ostracized? Because the people that will look back on it and have that vision of their life where they did something good will be the best people in the future. They'll be the best people in the future, and you will be happier and better off. I have a great life because I stood up for my values and pushed for the things that I believe in. It truly, like, I'm sure all of the people who work here at PragerU, awesome patriots themselves who work for an organization that believes in these great values, like their lives, I mean, so many of these people, we live in Los Angeles. They're like, I had so many friends who were on the left, or I worked at this other company and it sucked because everyone hated me and I didn't say my values or whatever. And now it's like all these people working at PragerU love their life and they have all these great friends and amazing teammates and coworkers, and they feel adamant about what they do and believe in. They feel motivated every single day because they know that they're doing something great. You want to have that same feeling, okay? It doesn't mean that you need to drop out of school or quit your job and become a, political influencer or the next Ben Shapiro. You don't have to do that, okay? Unless hypothetically you wanted to. But you don't have to go and do that. But if you have these values and you don't say anything or do anything with the values or things that you believe in, you are wasting your energy. It's like, imagine Albert Einstein, right? He's a genius, or was a genius. He's a absolutely smart guy. But what would it mean to the world if Albert Einstein had all this information and then didn't share it with anyone? He didn't spread that information anywhere. It'd be useless. It's absolutely useless. It's like you reading things about conservative thought or about the world and then you don't tell anyone about it or don't spread it anywhere. It's like you're just doing it for your own vanity. That's not what we do here at PragerU. That's not what you should be doing at all. You should be taking the values, the things that you believe in, the things that you know are going to make America an even better country, and you should be telling them and spreading them as far as you can, because that's the only way we bring this country back. That's the only way way that we save it from the left. And if you don't do that, then you are weak, and you are one of the reasons why this country is failing. You have to stand up. You have to stand up for what you believe in, or everything will be lost. I guarantee you.
Amen.
Yeah, mate.
You dropped this. I'm handing you my mic, but
oh, thanks. Yeah, mate. We're gonna have to cut this up for a podcast clip afterwards. That was really good.
The back pat right after.
Hey, listen, real recognize real. Yeah. You did a good job too.
Thanks, man.
Did you also like compare yourself to Albert Einstein in that?
No, I didn't compare myself to Albert Einstein.
We need more people like me and Albert Einstein.
We need more people who have 170 IQs like us.
Just casually lumping yourself together.
If you have 170 IQ like me, you better be taking your physics and engineering research out in the world.
Join us next episode for a live IQ test that Will does to back up his claim.
I'm a genius.
I don't want to take an IQ test.
I took an IQ test.
I'd rather not know. No.
I swear.
Well,
when I was like 12. It was online.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I took a real one. I know, whatever. We're backtracking a little bit, but I took a real IQ test. My mom, she was a nurse, and then there was someone, I think it was a doctor in training. My mom's watching this. Hi, Mom. If this is wrong, you can text me afterwards and tell me. But I think it was like someone studying to be a doctor, and they did an IQ test for me and my sister, and like mine was like apparently really high. I didn't want to say this, okay? I didn't want to come on here and flex on you guys about how smart I am. I know.
You have so many I accidentally just flexed on people.
It's hard. So many people all the time just tell me how attractive and smart I am. It's like, it gets annoying, right. It gets annoying after a while.
First word, pretty people probs.
And then my Wi-Fi sometimes goes out. It's terrible.
Yeah. All right. What's the next segment?
Okay, sorry guys. We joke on this show. It's a lot of fun. I hope you're having a good time watching. What is the next segment?
The Word with Will.
Oh, good. This is good too. This is one that's pretty important that I wanted to bring up. It's just on. Excuse me. It's just on me. Can you turn the display towards me so I can read it real quick, Spencer? Just don't want to make sure that I mess anything up. So this is the Word with Will, which is our segment, which we do. It's funny, it turned out that it wasn't going to be a weekly segment, but I've enjoyed doing it so much that I wanted to make it a weekly segment because, like I was just saying before, standing up for these values, Christian values, are something that's really important to me, and so I like speaking about this and talking about it. And so today's Word with Will is 2 Corinthians 5:17. This means that anyone who belongs to Christ has become a new person. The old life is gone, new life has begun. So, like I said, about 3 weeks ago, I was in Colorado. And you guys know, if you know me, I'm from Colorado. Excuse me. I'm from Colorado, and so I grew up there for high school and went to college in Colorado. And basically, at this point, I don't talk to anyone who I know from Colorado, except for my buddy JT, who is like my best friend, my sister, and my family, of course. But that's really about it. I don't really talk to any of my friends or anyone that I know. But I went back to give that speech, and so I decided to stay the weekend with my family because it was on a Monday. And I saw some friends who I knew from high school, knew these kids from when I was a senior in high school and a freshman in college. I think was probably the last time I seen them. I mean, what is this? 4 or 5 years ago? It was a long time ago. And so I just saw them again because one of my other buddies was dating someone who was with them, whatever, not important. But anyway, I met these people again and talking to them, and I was telling them about my life, and I had just been baptized about 3 months ago, which was the most amazing day of my life. It was so important to me, meant so much. And, a very strong conservative now. And if you guys know me or my story, I mean, I was a very liberal atheist person before. And so when I went and I told this to people, I was, even by these people who I knew a long time ago, I was somewhat laughed at, by these people who were my friends from a long time ago. They didn't really understand. They didn't really believe me. They said, we can't believe that, oh, Willie, no way that he is actually living his life this way.
People call you Willie?
That's what I went by my whole life.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
You didn't know that? Yeah,
Sorry,
Willie with a Y.
I don't mean to laugh.
No, it's okay. Yeah, little Willie.
All right.
Oh, boy.
So yeah.
You are a completely different person.
I know, right? Well, I was like, when I started working for PragerU, I changed it to Will. I was like,
that was a good move.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking is it Bill or is it Will? And
you can do Bill when you're
no, I'll never do Bill. Bill is nerd. Bill is a nerd name. Like Bill Gates, I don't want to get divorced to my wife after 27 years.
That's probably good.
So I'm sticking with Will. I met all these people and they kind of laughed it off and said, there's no way he's living this way. And I brought up this verse today, this one that we have now, because like I said, I had been baptized. And so my life, the way that I live my life is completely different than the way that I used to live my life around these types of people. The stuff that I used to do versus the stuff that I do now is like completely different. Of course, I'm still the same guy, but the things that I do and the things that I actually hold in accordance with my life that are important to me are my values and priorities are completely different. And so I want to bring this up to people that it's like, you are going to go out into the world and your values and your ideas are going to change. Like someone like Amla, she's sitting here and I'm praying and hoping that one day she finds God in the way that God intends with her life. We'll see what happens and everything. No rush on that. Don't feel pressured, Amala. Okay, it's all good. But just I'm hoping that she will. And people like Amala used to be like a huge leftist, right? She worked for leftist organizations, for George Soros organizations, all this. And I'm sure that a lot of the people who she knew back then would say, "There's no way you're a conservative now. There's no way you actually believe this stuff," right? It's like people will try and judge you for your past actions and the things that you did with different values and not take into account the new way that you're living. But the way that you're living now, as long as you're genuine about the stuff that you're doing and you get baptized or whatever it is, God is the one who is the only judge who can actually judge you, okay? So you will have people in your life, these people who I met, the people who maybe Amala knew, and people in your own lives, right, who will say that, oh, you can't live this way because you were a different person back then. You were a liberal. You were an atheist. There's no way that you can actually live your life this way. And it's like you can just basically, my advice to you about these kinds of people is to brush them off and say, you are fine to believe that, but the only person who can really judge me on this is God, right? So that's also in accordance with yourself, is that you have to live genuinely this way so that, you are actually set an example of this. If there are people like these people who said this to me, you have to set a genuine example for these people. You can't say that you're a changed person and then totally act not the way that you should be acting now if you say that you've changed your values and things. So it's about being genuine to yourself and then knowing that the only person who can judge you is God. Because I know a lot of people go through this. A lot of people were liberal before, or they were atheist before, and then they become Christian or conservative, whatever it is, whatever sort of change that you have in your life, whatever metamorphosis. It's important to remember who are the people who can actually judge you. Who are the people who are important to judge you, and who are the ones who just have seen one side of you and don't understand what you are trying to accomplish now. It's like the whole thing about like friends from before who are dragging you down. Now, I'm not trying to say these people are dragging me down. They had genuine concerns about this. But people from before who are trying to drag you down that, probably aren't good for your life. It's like the same thing, like letting those kind of things go, letting the people who are going to judge you that way go, and looking towards the people who can really judge you, which is God. And that's incredibly important. Taylor had some good insight on this too when we talked before. Take it away, Taylor. Taylor's really good on this stuff. You are really good on this stuff.
No pressure.
No pressure. Yeah, don't mess it up.
No, I think, like people judge you according to what they see and like your behavior. And basically we were talking about this earlier. The point I made is just that when you have a transformation in your values and your beliefs, that's at a deeper level than your behavior. And, when we talk about like God having the final say, or, God being the final judge of who you are, like when he says that you're a new person, then that's at the bottom of where your beliefs are, then you don't have to worry about what people say because, his opinion outweighs theirs. And the same deal, like if you have transformed your values and that like you're firmly rooted in what you believe, even if it's just on the level of like your values, Judeo-Christian values, like you don't have to you worry about, the surface level arguments that people make, or like, that try to, I don't know, question your authenticity. And like you said, I think what you said is really important. Is like, you need to know what you believe, and then you need to live that out. And that's what you're accountable for, is like, are you a person of integrity, and are you living out in a sincere way what you hold to be true, at the deepest level of who you are. And as long as you don't violate that, like, you're being an authentic person.
And that, again, doesn't mean that we are going to be living perfect lives. Like these people seeing me now, it's not like I'm saying like I'm so much better than you. I'm baptized. What are you, huh? You baptized? No, I didn't think so. It's not like that at all. Right. It's not like judgy at all. It's just like I'm choosing to live my life a different way than I did before. And I'm obviously going to mess up still. I'm obviously going to make stupid decisions and make mistakes and sin and all of those different things. But it doesn't mean that I'm not still authentically trying to live in a different way. And I think that's really important. Yeah. Thank you for listening to that. That's our little sermon.
Great. I like that segment.
I like that segment too. It's like it's something that I never get to talk about. It's something that like I don't get to do this ever, except, I mean, I talk to my friends and stuff about it, but I don't ever get to like go on live and talk about it because it's always just the political stuff, man. So it's like, I like having a segment that we can talk about different stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's cool that we can at PragerU because PragerU actually like is, you know, okay with going into the realm. We're about values. We're not about politics, contrary to most people's opinions. And so, you know, it's awesome that you're able to, you know, go there on this platform.
No. Thanks, Dennis.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man. All right, so what's the next segment? Is that
Base boomer memes?
Oh,
man, this is fun.
here we go.
Okay.
All right.
Do you want to intro this?
You intro the segment.
Okay.
You know it better than me.
Well, okay, so we had this idea because as scrolling through our, you know, if you're on the younger side, you know, Gen Z or millennial, you've probably been scrolling. Maybe if you're Gen Z, you're probably not even on Facebook. But if you're like us,
If you're old like us.
scrolling through Facebook and everyone's got that, you know, super conservative friend or relative or uncle, aunt, whoever it may be, who's sharing these memes that get shared hundreds of thousands of times on Facebook. And some of them are really based. So we're calling this base boomer memes, but just know we are not making fun of boomers. We are saying you guys are based in these memes. In other words, that's a Gen Z term for you guys know what you're talking about. This is good stuff. So these are memes that we've come across on social media, especially Facebook, shared by boomers that we think are based, that they're good. So,
I haven't seen these yet.
yeah.
I
So
haven't
Will's
seen them
reacting
yet.
live, and we've collected a few others on the team.
Yeah,
So-
Amala helped. Did Spencer help? Did you help look at these memes?
did
or
not.
No? Okay.
Should have.
All right. Well,
All right.
I trust Spencer more than I trust you too. So
Thank you.
hopefully this is fine.
All right.
Okay, so
Here we go.
Are we up?
Yeah, we're up.
Okay. Can you see this too, Taylor? Here, I'll move it a little bit so you can see.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay. My teacher said guns kill people. I told her my pencil failed my...
My last exam. I'll finish it for you, Will. Was that a cough or laugh or
Well,
both?
it was
Somewhere
both.
in between?
It was like I saw where it was going immediately. You get halfway through a boomer meme and you know exactly what's going to happen.
That is so based, though. It's like
It's great.
It highlights a truth in a succinct way, and I love this kid. I mean, just look at him.
No, it looks like that. Is that a picture of you?
No,
That- It looks
he's
just
a
like
good-looking
you.
kid, I guess. I mean, if all blonde little white boys look alike, but
He's
anyway.
got a big forehead like you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Well,
in a good way.
well, it just means he's got a big brain. He's probably got an IQ like Albert Einstein.
You take an IQ test, huh?
All right, next. Here we go.
Everything free is paid for by someone who works.
I love that.
I mean,
I like that too because it's actually absolutely true.
And the boomers know, like, we live in a generation where everyone wants free healthcare, free college, free everything. And the ultimate truth is if you're not out there creating value, it's basic economics. Like, people don't understand that anymore, but the boomers do. And they share this. These are memes that are shared like thousands, tens of thousands,
I know. I wish
hundreds of
we had the
thousands of
shares that were
times.
on. I wish we had.
I
the
know some of
shares
them
on
did,
there.
but yeah,
Oh, cool.
we wanted to make sure we could see.
Like some of them got like 1. What was that one? 1.3 million shares.
Like nothing on PragerU I think we've ever made has gotten shared that much on Facebook.
no, I mean that's
So-
insane. 1.3 million times.
And it's funny because we'll put all this effort into like designing really good looking stuff, and our design team does a great job. And like in putting all these videos and elaborate stuff together, and then a simple statement like this on like the most basic looking text, it's like people just love it
I
and
know.
share it. Like
Capitalism is great.
crazy. Yeah,
1.8 billion shares.
exactly.
Every single person in North America shared this post. Best quote I've heard today. As a parent, it's my priority to help you get into heaven, not Harvard. That one just hits a soul,
Yeah,
you know, in a way that only a boomer meme can.
yeah. I mean, again, there's truth at the root of this, though. It's like
No,
you know,
that is where your parents' responsibility should be.
Yeah.
The most educated people are usually the most stupid people.
And parents should be more concerned with like the values that you're living your life out of than, you know, like trying to get you into some elite school. Because if
Yeah.
you go off and get this awesome education and you're rich, but like, you know, you can't keep a marriage together and you have broken relationships and your life sucks.
You failed as a parent.
Yeah, exactly.
You should be doing. This is boomers are parents.
They're based based boomers.
Show your mind, not your behind.
this is good.
Oh, I love this one.
See, this one has the shares on it. 25,000 shares.
25,000.
I know.
That's insane. Wait, but this
This guy Ravia knows what he's talking about.
not Ravya Yanchanan Omari Gyata. What a name. With a name like that, I'd share it.
Heck yeah.
This is great though, because going on TikTok, I mean, posting content on TikTok, there's a lot of butts.
There are. Show your mind, not your mind. There should be more minds.
Yeah, there should.
Amala shows off her mind on TikTok.
Yeah, she does.
That's
Good
her
job,
flex.
Amala.
She's over there giggling in the corner.
Oh, always giggling.
Always giggling.
Always giggling.
I wish we could turn a camera over there, but
If you push evolution and global warming, but don't know how many genders there are and believe a pregnant woman can be a man, but the baby in her womb isn't a human being, then thanks, but I think I'll pass on your so-called science. Hell yeah. I love that
I
one.
mean, honestly, though, for how much
There's a lot of contradictions within leftist thought.
yeah, exactly.
This points it out succinctly, cleverly, humorously.
With a great photo. Is that Bill Nye? No.
No, I think that looks more like Spencer.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And not as
Spencer, are you pushing global warming on our youth while not knowing how
Spencer,
many genders there are?
That's
Are
my
you
part-time
pregnant?
job, actually.
Imagine, if you will, a world where every tweet and meme must be fact-checked, but not a ballot.
Ooh.
Wow.
I mean,
It's kind of.
Based.
this guy looks like Mad Men.
Do you not even know who that is?
You don't know who that is?
No.
Rod Serling,
Oh,
Twilight
my
Zone.
goodness.
Oh,
My
okay.
goodness.
Oh
One
my
of the best
gosh.
shows of all
My
time.
fiance's
Yeah,
gonna kill me.
Didn't you
She
just hear
loves
my
Twilight
voice that I
Zone.
did?
Yeah.
I didn't
was-
catch it.
Imagine, if you will.
I
Like,
Well,
Twilight Zone freaks me out. I can't watch it.
I haven't done it.
It freaks me out too
sultry.
much.
Yeah, it is kind of freaky. That's. Kathy Barron said, "I'm a democratic socialist. It's cool that you're so open about your mental illness."
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
That might be
one's
the
a-
best one.
Yeah, that one's a little stinker. I like that one. I've gone on plenty of dates with girls who are on the left.
Alex,
Not because I like to, but I have.
yeah, didn't you like tell a girl at a bar once that you were conservative and she started crying?
Yeah. I
'Cause
mean,
she
that's
liked
happened
you, but
multiple
didn't wanna-
times. Yeah.
Oh man.
Another one, a girl saw my Instagram, and this was oh, what was it? Was it Halloween? No, it wasn't Halloween. It was some other thing. Maybe it was like Cinco de Mayo 2 years ago. I don't know. Anyway, we went out, and I'm with Alex. Alex is my cameraman. He's like my best friend, and he's Mexican, right? And I'm like, this girl, she's cute, and we're talking at this bar, and it's like fine and fun. And then she like looks at my Instagram. She gets so pissed off about everything I'm doing. She's like, I just put out a post about immigration, and she's like, I can't believe you hate Mexicans and all this stuff. And I'm just like, Alex is right there, and I'm like, he's Mexican and he's conservative. And then that was it.
What a great
And then
story.
she left away. I know.
Cool story, bro.
Sorry, okay? I'm just trying to prove to you guys I've talked to girls before, which I have, okay? I definitely have. Hating your country, and I'm a genius. Hating your country is like hating your parents and still living in their home. Move out and be happy somewhere else. This one was written by an angry parent who's upset with their son or daughter.
I don't know. Or it could have just
Well,
been
yeah.
written by an angry normal person who is tired of people hating on America and being like, if you love it or leave it.
It could be, but I think boomers draw inspiration from the world around them.
Could be true. Are you like psychoanalyzing an entire generation?
I might be. I'm thinking about my mom. No offense, Mom. Again, I know you're watching, but I love you. But this sounds like something you might say. In a good way.
But it's
in
based.
a good way.
It's good. It's
no,
like,
Mom.
It's true.
You say great things. I love you.
Move on to the next one.
All right. Charles Leonard. What kids think communism is? What communism really is?
This one's serious.
The boomers
This one's
know.
really
They
serious.
lived through.
No, they don't mess around.
Mhm.
All right, they're gonna put a picture on Facebook of someone getting shot with communism because they don't care.
Communism kills.
Facts don't care about your feelings.
And
Charles Leonard.
Those are the facts. It's Karl Marx's birthday today.
Oh, today is Karl Marx's birthday.
Cinco de Mayo is
Yeah.
also Karl Marx's
Ah,
birthday.
Cinco de Cambio.
Cinco de Marxismo.
Cinco de. Whatever. Science gets better every day. You can sweat on each other for 48 minutes, breathe in each other's face, and all handle the same ball. But you better wear a mask on the bench and can't meet the opposing team at half court after the game to shake hands. Science.
Science.
Science makes no sense.
Well, be careful saying
The-
things like that. You're going to get us banned.
No, the left science.
Yeah.
The science of the left.
Science
makes no
as a
sense.
religion, the dogmatic religion where you have to follow. Like that's not science. Is
Yeah.
a process of discovering truth and like
Right.
getting more closer to
Hypothesis.
Yeah, new.
Yeah, it's like telling me to
hypothesis.
wear a mask when I'm 20 feet away from people giving a speech.
Yeah.
It's not based in science. It's
No.
based in fear. It's making a girl who's running the 800-meter dash wear a mask and she passes out while running the race.
I know it's so dumb. Like, I don't watch the NBA anymore, but like you see on highlights and stuff. Sometimes because they're playing and then they like walk off the court and put a mask on, like sitting on the corner. It's like
I know.
all y'all have been tested. You're in this bubble. Like no one has COVID. Why are we doing
I
this?
do watch
I
the
know.
NBA, and I was watching a game last night, and someone was being interviewed. They were playing. The game ended. Then they put on the mask, and then just to go in front of a mic when the commentators that they're talking to are in a different city.
Yeah, of course. And then like if they're in person, they they interview the athletes after the game and they stand like 30 feet away. It's the most
I know.
awkward thing you've ever seen.
I know,
It's
it's
like, why
super
are
awkward.
we doing this?
It's like, do you really have to stand 10 feet away to talk about LeBron flopping again?
I know.
Like, just get
Why'd
up.
you flop this time?
Why'd you flop this time, LeBron, huh?
He actually happened
What?
the other day. Like he had a I saw like on House of Highlights on Instagram or something. Like
It's
it was
horrible.
like someone's arm like flashed by his face. There's clearly like a foot of distance, and
I know.
he goes,
I just saw that one too. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's wild. Oh, loser. So based. Oh,
all right,
that's
that's it. That's the end.
it. Thanks.
That was my creative end card.
Oh.
Some.
No, I appreciate that.
I hope
Wait, how do
Alex. I hope
me
our
turn off
design
this
team
music.
leader, Alex, or director of design, I should say, survived that segment without his brain exploding with some of those graphic design. But
I think he did.
they were based.
No, I don't think he would like it. I think if he saw that, he'd probably throw up. But it's
Probably
okay.
laugh at
He
some
did
of
say
them.
he was
No,
commenting
he
the whole
would.
time.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Thanks, Alex. Appreciate that. All right, so now we're going to move on to the questions. These questions are submitted from Prager Force. This is going to be the last part of the show. I was going to do, Star Wars as well and rank the Star Wars movies, but I'll give you guys a quick rundown of the Star Wars movies. And my opinion, it's not an opinion actually, it's just facts, okay? I know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you don't agree with me, you're wrong. All right?
I already don't agree
Just-
with you, and I know that.
Well, you haven't even said anything yet. I'm just telling you guys that if you don't agree with me, you're wrong because this is science. Okay?
Follow the science.
This is
Will's
science,
opinions on
and
Star
I'm a
Wars.
genius,
We're doing this
and-
because yesterday was May the 4th. May the 4th.
Yes,
be
that's
with you.
exactly
It's
right.
like the
May
whole-
the 4th be with you. So we're doing it today because we don't have a podcast on Tuesday. It's on Wednesdays. Okay, worst movies. the bottom of the barrel, F tier, are easily all of the new ones.
Oh,
It's
I don't
by
even
far-
count those.
yeah, the original 6 are all that matter.
Okay, well, I'm counting them just to say that they all suck. Anyone who liked those movies, I don't know how you would even at any point like
The sequels.
when the black guy Finn and the Asian chick and they go to the Vegas
The
planet.
evil gun maker
Yeah.
capitalists.
Yeah, they go to the
It's
Vegas
literally
planet.
like
Oh my
anti-capitalist
goodness.
propaganda.
I know. I want to. I don't know.
It's like
I want to Alderon myself. It's so horrible to watch.
I made it through the first one. I remember I was so excited for the new trilogy of Star Wars, and I went with my dad and my brother, and we watched it, and then we walked out, and we were all just like, it felt like a gut punch, and we
know.
couldn't. No one said a word. We just looked at each other. Like,
It was so
what
terrible.
happened to Star
There was
Wars?
a lot of disappointment that day.
I know.
I
It was
know.
a dark day in history.
It's horrible.
It was
At least Ray was hot. Other than that, this wasn't really.
So how would you
yeah.
rank the original 6?
Okay, so the original 6.
Okay, well,
the worst of
the only Star Wars films that exist. We're
Yes.
just
Okay, all right.
There are 6 Star Wars films.
The best Star Wars
We'll
film
let Rogue
ever.
One be in there, but
Solo.
oh god, I didn't even watch Solo.
Just kidding.
to
I
be
didn't
fair.
watch
it
I heard
either.
it was
I
like
didn't
all
watch it
right,
either.
but like
All right, the worst one out of all of these ones is Episode 5. Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back.
no,
That's the
my
worst.
gosh,
This list
no,
is
that's
Empire
the
invalid.
best.
Just let me say it, all right? I'm
All right,
going
do
to
yours
say
real
my
quick.
opinion.
Do yours
I'm going
real
to tell
quick.
you guys what it is. Empire Strikes Back, that's the worst one. Then A New Hope. Second to best, or second to worst, all right? New Hope. It's not horrible. I'm not saying these movies are bad. I'm
Just
just
keep
saying
going.
that
Just
they're the
keep
worst,
going.
okay? All right, then we have Phantom Menace. That's the 4th worst.
Oh my gosh.
Then Return of the Jedi. That's the 3rd best. Then Attack of the Clones, 2nd best.
And you're putting Revenge of the Sith.
Best one is Revenge of the Sith, baby. You can't tell me it's not the best.
I hate
The
Revenge of the Sith.
the
It's one of
CGI.
the worst.
And
I
the-
just can't stand emotional Anakin.
You know what? I don't like
It's too
sand.
over the top. It's coarse. and
it's
it gets
coarse and
everywhere.
rough, and it gets everywhere. I love
Oh.
that movie. I love Revenge of the Sith. It's one of my favorite movies ever. It's so good. It's the best Star Wars by
No, it's
far.
not.
All of you guys have some sort of weird nostalgia about the original 3, but there's no doubt that Duel of the Fates with Darth Maul, that one scene in the Phantom Menace is better than any scene in
Okay, that's
any
a
of
great
the
scene.
in
It's a
any
great
of
scene.
the 3 original Star Wars. That one scene is better than any scene in any of the, or even the pod racing scene.
You also have
That's
Amala
Phantom
who's
Menace.
just staring
I know,
at
but I'm
him.
saying
Yes.
like Phantom Menace, like that. Same
Yeah,
thing.
Amala's. We're gonna watch Star Wars with Amala, and she's never seen them, so
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
gonna like.
And then we'll get like a clear, because she's gonna watch every single one only once, and she's going to say which one is her favorite. Are we gonna watch it 4 to 6 or 1? And
4
then 1
to
to 3
6,
or
1, 2, 3.
I like 4. Yeah, 4, 5, 6,
Okay.
1, 2.
The way they
All
come
right,
out.
fine. All right, fine.
But,
Anyway, that's my Star Wars opinions, and it's not an opinion. Again, it's a fact. I don't.
Taylor and I disagree.
Well,
yeah, terrible take.
I'm sorry that you guys have mental illness. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Okay.
Okay.
Let's move on before
We're gonna close the show with Ask
All right.
Will.
Yeah. Okay. Asking Will. These questions are from Prager Force, guys.
Yeah.
Again, Prager Force, our student program. I hope you guys join at pragerforce.com. The first question, Spencer.
Ready?
Yep.
What is a topic that you've changed your mind on? And this is coming from Madeline Grace, a Prager Force member.
Oh, hello, Madeline Grace. I recognize you. Topic I've changed my mind on. I would say probably a public option. I think a public option is actually a very good idea. If you guys don't know what a public option is, essentially what it is that politicians can no longer take money from these secret PACs and donations from, like, Gavin Newsom getting a house bought for him or something like that as a political donation. Those kind of things will be no more, and instead you get your political campaign money from essentially the government, from tax dollars. You basically, on your taxes, when you file them every year, you can decide whether or not you want to give any money towards a candidate or a party that you support. You give them money, and then each candidate, like let's say I'm running for governor of California as red, and then Taylor's running blue, and we both get the same amount of money from people paying into it for that race. And so then you're not getting all these shady lobbyists and secret donations, and so it makes the political process much cleaner, right? This is something that actually Bernie Sanders supported. So, crazy, I know. But I think it's actually a really good idea because it gets rid of all the crazy lobbying. Our government is the way that it is because of horrible lobbying, because of our bureaucrats in office being controlled by special corporate interests. That is why we are in the situation that we are in so many ways, okay? It's why opportunities for young people, all this stuff are falling apart. So I'm for this, and I think it would be a very good idea. You guys should definitely look into more into it, or if you have more questions and you guys want to ask more about it on another episode, we can talk more about it. But I think it's a great idea.
Awesome. All right. So second question is coming from Jazz Living Healthy. What is your opinion on the body positivity movement?
Oh, gonna probably offend some people here, huh?
Amla's over in the corner, like, let me at him,
huh? This is Will Witt Live, not Giggle Live, Amla, okay? we're doing some serious stuff here. Body positivity movement. I think anyone supporting a positivity movement for people being unhealthy is a terrible thing to do. Why would you want people to be unhealthy? If people are morbidly obese and they're going out there saying it's beautiful, it's like, okay, if that's your standard of beauty, sure, no man really thinks that, but whatever. But it's like the important thing is that you are not pushing that on other people. You can say that you want to be fat or you want to be super skinny, whatever it is, but don't push that on other people when it's an unhealthy lifestyle. I don't want people, look, I'm kind of self-conscious right now because I have this little dad bod. I'm like the skinniest dad bod you've ever seen, where I have like skinny arms,
You
but
got
then
a little
like a beer
Grinch belly.
Yeah, like a little beer belly, but it
Look like the Grinch.
the Grinch. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good comparison. But it's like I don't want feminists or male feminists coming up to me and saying, "Wow, your fupa is beautiful." Like that's the last thing I want. I want people to come up to me.
You want to be shamed.
I want to be shamed. I want people to come up to me and say, "You're kind of stretching that shirt a little thin, Will." I want people to say that. And I
gently and lovingly.
Right, gently and lovingly.
I guess we know how we'll greet you in the office every morning.
Yeah. What's up, fatty? No, you don't have to say that to people, obviously. But I'm saying that you shouldn't be pushing a culture that breeds unhappiness and unhealthiness. It kills people. Heart disease and obesity, I mean, they're the biggest killers in America right now. They're an unhealthy way to live your life. I
mean, there's this, I'm looking at this CNBC article right now. The CDC study finds that 78% of people hospitalized for COVID were either overweight or obese.
Yes, exactly.
So we're making this culture where it's a faux pas to even mention that you might be unhealthy, and people are literally dying because we're too afraid to just say simple facts.
I know.
But they're actually celebrating that they're like fat and unhealthy.
I know.
And I don't want to be rude when I'm saying fat, but like truly,
Yeah.
people are celebrating that fact.
Yeah, you should not be celebrating the fact that you are unhealthy.
Right. It's like
why
anything,
are you celebrating that?
Anything as long, to avoid saying people are responsible for themselves and their health and their actions and what. And I get certain people have issues with hormones and stuff like that. And it's like, that's fine. It's not necessarily what we're talking about if you literally can't do anything. But like,
oh, well, there's always someone in the comments who says like, well, I have this.
I know.
It's like, It's not what we're talking
And
about.
people,
we're talking about
but our
morbidly
culture
obese
will accommodate that. If you say, if you can always play the card of like, oh yeah, I can, I have this problem or whatever. Like, everyone's got things, and I mean, maybe yours is legitimate. I don't know, but I'm saying in general, we shouldn't have in our culture this. We're too scared to say simple facts that like being morbidly obese is not a healthy thing, and it's like people literally die because of it. And we saw that in COVID, and like no one's talking about this. How is this not the biggest story? That
it should be
in America.
It should be, but that Cosmopolitan article came out with like the chick on the front who was like obese.
Yeah. Instead, we're celebrating
at the same time that 78% of the people hospitalized for COVID are obese. It came out at the same time. What kind of a world do we live in?
These are also the people that say believe the science, but they don't believe in the science of being healthy.
Yeah,
eating right.
Medical facts.
Leftism is just such the like. It's crazy because you go here to LA and there's like crazy fat feminist ladies with blue hair, and they're beautiful for being fat, and then you have the crazy leftist vegan skinny like on the totally opposite side of the spectrum. It's like I'm just pretty normal.
Yeah. Then you have the psycho like vegan people who are like super unhealthy because they're like on these crazy old diets. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Just be healthy. You don't have to be a crazy health freak or anything like that. Just, take care of your body. And even if you are unhealthy, maybe you live in America. Hopefully. I mean, you can make lifestyle choices that you want. That's fine. Do your thing. You can live however you want. Okay. But don't push it on other people if you're doing something that is unhealthy or bad for you. Okay. Don't push it on other people. That's just common sense at this point. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate this. If you like this video, make sure that you're sharing it all over. This is on Apple Podcasts. It's on Spotify. It's on Google Play. Please go on Apple Podcasts. Rate this 5 stars. Leave a nice comment. We really appreciate it. Help us out. Help us reach more people. We're actually charting in the education podcast. Witt Live is. So that's really exciting news that I want to share with you guys. Apparently, this is educational. So hopefully you guys learned something today. Nice. And that's about all we got.
Join us for lives tomorrow. We're going to start doing lives, I think, every day at 2:30. So
yeah, me and Amla. Yeah,
2:30 p.m.
So I know you guys probably missed her today, but I was happy to do one by myself today. Just kidding, Amla. I would like to have you here. It's good to have you here. Guys, remember, follow me on social media at The Will Witt. That's Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all of them. And then also PragerU on all of our social media, no matter where you're watching, and on our website at prageru.com so that you never miss a video. Thanks for watching, guys. We're going to see you 2 weeks.